What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another breakdown video where I'm sure the video that y'all about to watch me break down y'all have seen already, and it is absolutely atrocious in so many ways, but not so surprising. So in this video, you're going to see this woman who literally was berating this black man at an NFL game. He was wearing a Patriots jersey. I'm guessing he's a fan of the team, and it was going against the team that she was cheering for, and she literally got in this man's face. Now, this is nothing new that PC women have done when it comes to black men, and it's always been an issue, but I saw multiple problems with this besides what she does, but more so in the response from the people when it comes to how the black man conducted himself. And what's so shameful about it is that when I was reading about this man, by the way, the black man's name is Jerry Edmond, he said that this was his first NFL game. What a way to experience his first NFL game in person. But I'm going to go ahead and do what I do when it comes to the breakdowns. In case y'all unaware, I do a stop and go. When it comes to the breakdown videos, what I'll do is I will leave the link to the full video in the description if you want to watch the entire thing play all the way through. So you're already starting off wrong already. Like, the guy's minding his business. He's watching the game, and already she's all in his face, yelling at him, pointing her finger at him. Who knows what she's saying because it's so loud in there, so you can't really make it out, but I bet she's saying all types of BS. And this guy, I'm guessing who she's with, I'm not sure if that's her husband or a friend, he has to go over and pull her back from being in this man's face, because here's the thing, even PC men that know that a lot of their women are off the rails, and they know that any other man will swing on them, and especially a black man. But she was lucky that this guy, all he wanted to do was watch his first NFL game and not do anything that would get him hemmed up, because I'm sure he knows as a black man in this establishment, if he was to swing on this PC woman, it would have been a wrap for him no matter what she did. Now, here she is still trying to get away from this guy who's holding her back, and she's still in this man's face. Now, mind you, this black man is doing nothing to her. Okay, I couldn't tell at first who they're playing, but they're playing the Raiders. So obviously she's a Raiders fan. But she's getting in this man's face, yelling at him, and he didn't even do nothing to her. He was just standing there minding his business, watching the game like everybody else, and she has a problem with him for whatever reason it is. I guess it's because he's a Patriots fan and she felt some type of way. And it looks like this guy right here in the red is with him. And here she is again, still yelling and getting aggressive in his face. What did I tell y'all in that video about toxic masculinity, about how they need to have one for toxic femininity? Can someone tell me what's feminine about what this woman is doing right here? This woman is being loud, she's being boisterous, she's being aggressive, she's being masculine. She's trying to get in she's not trying to get in the black man's face. She's getting in his face as if she's going to beat him. But see, that's also the privilege that a lot of white women have when it comes to black men, is that they think that, like I said, their inner Carolyn Bryant gets out. That's why I said believe all women is why Carolyn Bryant is a free woman. That's why I say that. You got to drill that into people's heads. Y'all cannot think that, and this is to the black men out here, just because you think or have the freedom to sleep with whoever you want, keep in mind that there are other PC women out here like her who will do this. And I will not be surprised if a lot of them have done this to black men, but they'll turn a blind eye to it. Like, this woman was trying to kick up dust with this black man who she does not know. Almost as if she was baiting him to do something to her, because she knows her privilege as a white woman in America. She's always going to have the upper hand. Now look at her. Now she's jumping up and down and saying whatever. The black man is just minding his business, like he's not even fazed by it. And I think that's what makes her mad. And that's another thing PC loves to do when it comes to black people. They love to bait them so much that if black people ignore them, they get even more upset. Quick story. I'll never forget the time when I was at my job. They told me, because where I work at, it was a sporting event. They told me that I had to go down there and get these two guys. They were two PC men because they were in the wrong seats in the wrong section. They were supposed to be on the 400 level, but they were down on the 100 level. I went down there and told them, look, y'all in the wrong seats. The people are waiting at the top for you. Y'all got to come on. One guy left. The other guy gave me so much mouth that I just turned around and walked up the stairs and ignored him. And he got so upset with me of me ignoring him that he started yelling in the back of my ear. And literally, I had to pull one of these moves that this guy was doing and keep my composure. But the difference between me and him is I was on the clock. He's not. He's dealing with a white woman. I was dealing with a white man. So if I was to turn around one time and like kind of accidentally bump him and he fell down the steps, then hey, that would have been on him because you was a little bit too close. But that's something that PC hates, is when black people ignore them, because they love to try to bait us into doing something. That way they can cry victim later. And that's what she was doing right here. Now look at this. She went from doing all of that to hugging this man. I'm guessing he hugged her to calm her. This was a way to calm her down. I bet she's gonna probably blame it on the fact that she had a little too much to drink. But notice she only did that to this man and nobody else. You cannot tell me there were no other Patriots fans around, that she wasn't trying to get on their nerves. See how quickly she switched like that? She went from being all aggressive and turning all red in the face to being all smiles and cheering and throwing high fives like nothing just happened in the last 10 to 20 seconds. The turnaround is real. It was like laughably bad by the Patriots just lost. Now look at her. Like she's off the chain. She's out of control. Now she look like she done pissed these people off because of her swinging her shirt up and down. Because it looked like she hit this guy in the back of the head. And the guy right here is tapping him on the shoulder almost as if he's trying to, I guess, try to keep him cool. Because I can read body language very well. I can tell this guy probably wanted to pop off, but he retained his cool because he said it was his first game. And he already knew what the optics would have looked like. And here she goes again. Look at the switch. Here's a switch. Now she about to get back in his face. Look at her. She was that close to hitting him, like literally slipping and like literally jabbing him in the face with her finger. Now she has an audience, because if you can see, this woman right here is like looking up at this woman like, this heifer is crazy. Now she finally got her stuff and she's left, and that's the whole video. Now, one thing that I had an issue with, I'm gonna let this play in a loop with the sound off while I talk about this, is when I was looking at the comment section, a lot of the people who were mainly PC, both men and women, but mainly men, were applauding this restraint that this black man was having. And I noticed that whenever black people, especially black men, are in a position like this where they keep their cool and they restrain themselves, even if they are in the right to pop off on somebody, because if he wanted to go off on her, even in a verbal context, he would have been well within his rights to do so. Whenever they do that, they only do that to black men, almost to like always keep black men on a tight leash. And because if they know if black men will pop off, then that tone would switch. I was looking through the comment section and they said that this man was owed a beer, and he'd supposed to get tickets, and I'm gonna get on that in a little bit. Saying how good of a man he is. He showed restraint. He did the right thing. They always do that whenever a black man is in a position where he has to almost submit to his own emotions. Not submit to, not so much submit to his own emotions, but submit into a docile role. Like, that's how they prefer to see black men. Because I'm telling you, if this guy literally went off on her the way she went off on him, they would not have been saying that he was a good guy. They would have been saying he should have been better. He's the man. She's a woman. He could have did better. they would have said toxic masculinity, you know, misogyny and all types of stuff. If you notice right there in the ending, I didn't catch that. He said something to her as she was walking off, and she finally left. And that was the first time he really said anything to her. And it almost makes me wonder what he would have said to her if his friend wasn't there, because I don't know what his friend was saying to him as well. I don't know what his friend like whispered to him in his ear. But like, that was something that I noticed when I was looking at the comment section, is that they kept telling him how good of a guy he is. They love to call black men good guys and good men whenever they are in a docile environment, or an environment where they have to be docile and are not allowed to go and pop off on one of them folks like her. Because I'm telling you, if it was another way, it would have been totally different. And the way that I notice is because with the incident with Trey Songz that happened a few years ago, when he was at a baseball game, it was either a baseball game or a football game. He was in the same type of predicament where it was some white guys who got in his face like she did, and then it got physical, and he was fighting them back and literally beat the shit out of all of them. And then what happened? He's the one that got charged with something. They were the ones that saying he was the aggressor, even though he was defending himself from an obvious mob. So there, that plays into a thing right there where they, like, again, they do not like it when black men protect themselves or defend themselves in any type of situation, because they will turn it into something completely different. Trust me, believe, remember what happened with Tara Owens with that Karen in August? You know, outside of his home. Imagine if there was no video. They would have took her side, and Terrell Owens would have been the big black boogeyman, like they always wanted to be. Had he popped off on her in this video, they would have labeled him the big black boogeyman. Because look, he fits the type: dark skin, dreadlocks. I'm sorry, just say locks. He almost, from the side profile, he almost looks like Richard Sherman. And you know how they felt about him after a while. He's an educated black man, but he's still a black man from the hood. The minute he got really loud and aggressive after a win, what were they quick to say about Richard Sherman? Oh, he's a hood guy. He's in the projects. He's from the ghetto. Now realizing this guy is very educated, very intelligent, very articulate, and very well spoken. But because he was excited and about a major win, and he got loud like any excited person would be, they labeled him instantly as a stereotype. And that's exactly probably why he didn't pop off on her. See, we are in a position where black men are scared to be seen as the stereotype. And I get it. As a black man, I definitely get it. But you know what? I would not mind having to hold that little whatever, if it means I can pop off on them, if they pop off on me. Granted, because I wouldn't be the one that's going to start it, but I will be the one to conclude it. Now, I wanted to talk about this right here. Now, this is a picture of Jerry Edmond, who is meeting with Bob Kraft, or Robert Kraft, who you know is the owner of the Patriots. Of course, after this situation went viral, you know, a lot of people reached out to Robert Kraft, and Robert Kraft reached out to Jerry Edmond, and he ended up inviting Jerry Edmond to the offices and showing him around, and then gave him some tickets to future game, or maybe future games, because of the situation. While that's all fine and all, I need to know what punishment this white woman got. Because if she didn't get anything less than a ban for life from that stadium for any event, it doesn't have to be a football game. I mean, for any event, that's not a punishment. And this is not seen, and this is not a reward. Fine, you know, they can give him tickets and everything to come to a future game, but what happened to her? Because keep in mind of what happened for him to get these tickets to come to those future games. That would not have happened if she didn't do what she did. So why does it seem to me, unless I didn't read into it, why does it seem to me that she's off the hook? It seems to me she's not facing any consequences for her actions. She was being loud. She was being boisterous. She was being belligerent. She was being masculine. You know, I find it very interesting that a lot of people love to say that black women have masculine tendencies, but you'll overlook what she just did. And I'm telling you, a lot of these white women do this to black men a lot. I'm sure they do it to their men too, but they love to do it to black men. And I keep telling you, it's the Carolyn Bryant effect. Ever since that stuff happened with her, all them other ones got ideas. But that woman wasn't nesting in her femininity. She wasn't. She was hoping this black man would have popped off on her. The smartest thing that he did was not to go off on her because he knew what would have happened. Black men in America, we know our surroundings and what can happen to us when something happens. That's why we always tell black women to stop getting in these men's faces. I remember I had did a video a couple years ago, and I had a lot of black women mad at me about that particular video. Some black men, but a lot of black women. And it was the video where it was this PC man who was at a mall, and it was a tall PC man. He had to be well over 6, probably over 6'4". And it was an incident at the mall where it was some black kids, mainly black teenagers, going, at the mall. Sometimes, as kids, we used to go to the mall and have fun and hang out with our friends at the mall. And that's exactly what they were doing. And he was trying to get through the crowd because I think his daughter had gotten into some kind of altercation with one of the kids, and he was looking for his daughter. And the kids was starting to surround this guy. One of the girls got up the nerve. Now this girl looked like she could not have been older than 15. Got up the nerve to try to square up with this tall guy, and with one swipe of his hand knocked that girl on her ass. And then all of a sudden, everybody wanted to try to jump this guy. And I remember I did a video and said, I do not feel bad for that little girl, because I don't know what made her think she was going to square up on this big guy and think she was going to win. Another example. Remember what happened on the New York subway with the guy in the 8-ball jacket? When she was basically in a way terrorizing him, and then she took it too far when it went from verbal to physical. She smacked him. He turned around and slapped the shit out of her, and literally ended up almost fighting the whole train. One guy thought he was going to just jump up in his face and fight this guy. That guy who turned out to be a club bouncer beat the shit out of him. Had that guy leaking. That guy was getting hit so hard, he had him seeing stars. That video, by the way, of course, we all know about it, is still up online. Another example, and this is going to be the final example. The Cleveland bus driver. Remember that? You're going to jail now. You're going to jail now. Pop. She thought she was going to mess with this guy while he's driving the bus. Then she spit on him. That was it. He pulled that bus over and uppercutted her, opened up that door, and threw her and her jacket off that bus. So to the women out there, y'all can keep getting in these men's faces and think they all gonna be like how this guy is, but trust and believe, some of them will pop off and pop you. Don't think that just because you a woman that some of these men are not going to see you as a woman in that aspect. They gonna rage out and think that you another dude. Since you want to act like a man, you'll get treated like one. But still in this establishment, we see what happened right here. And I know I said the last example was the last one, but I have one more, and I promise you this one. And this was also at another sporting event. If y'all remember, it was a college event, and they had this white girl. That girl was so pissy drunk that she literally had to be carried out of there because she was so being belligerent, much like this woman that was in this man's face. This woman was so belligerent that she ended up smacking one of the security guards. The security guard that she smacked was a black man. That black man didn't care what could have happened to him after he did what he was about to do, and that was literally punch her so hard that she literally, her head cocked back like a Pez dispenser, and she was knocked out. And he did that in front of a crowd of mainly PC students. Some of y'all remember that video. I keep telling y'all, to the women out here, y'all better tread lightly when how y'all try to be when it comes to these men. And he probably felt like, and I'm talking about this guy right here, he probably felt like because she didn't touch me, I'm not going to touch her. I would have probably yelled at her ass back. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'd be waiting for the day when something like this will happen with me. All I have to say is this guy has more patience than a monk to be dealing with all of that foolishness that he dealt with. And it's such a shame, again, because this was his first NFL game. This is supposed to be a memory for him, and it turned into a nightmare. Imagine when years from now, when he talks about his experience at his first NFL game, like say with his children, and then he's going to have to tell them about how he had to deal with this POS. Literally berating him at the game like he was a dog or a child. I keep telling you that 3/5 compromise was written ages ago, but it's still on the books. They may say it's not there, they don't apply it. But in that moment, this white woman treated this black man like he was 3/5 of a human being. And I'm going to mention this one last point before I end this video off, because I could keep going on and on, but I don't want to start rambling. I noticed that when I looked up his information about, Jerry Edmond, it says that he, but in his name, like next to his name, it had the Haitian flag. So he's a non-FBA black man. To all the non-FBA people out there that think that you have a good footing here in America, what's your take on this? Because many of y'all think that just because you have black skin, that a lot of you shouldn't be categorized as black. You're in the diaspora. I keep telling y'all, when you come over here, they're going to put you into the category of nigga. It's going to be in big bold letters. It's probably going to be lit up on the Summer Jam screen. It's going to say nigga going across it. And that's going to be you. Now, remember what happened to that Nigerian? I think he was Nigerian, the one that got killed by the cops a few months ago. Remember what happened with Obumseli? Another Nigerian? Yeah. Are y'all starting to figure this out now? Don't do that tethering stuff. You can get the support, but if you doing that tethering stuff, you on your own. I hope that's not the case with Jerry Edmond.